Dragon Ball is often remembered for screaming transformations, planet-shattering fights, and power levels that stopped making sense decades ago. But strip all of that away, and at its core, Dragon Ball is not a story about strength. It's a story about pain. And no character carries that pain more deeply, more consistently than Vegeta. Because while Goku represents freedom, joy, and endless growth, Vegeta represents something far more human, pride that becomes a prison, trauma passed down through generations, and the slow, brutal process of learning that strength alone will never heal what's broken inside you. Vegeta isn't just a rival, he's the emotional backbone of Dragon Ball. And today, we're going to talk about why his suffering, not Goku's victories, is the true heart of the series. Vegeta was never allowed to be a child. He was born not as a son, but as a weapon. From the moment he could walk, his value was measured in power levels. His worth was determined by how efficiently he could conquer, kill, and dominate. His father, King Vegeta, didn't raise him with love, he raised him with expectation. Be strong, be ruthless, you are royalty. And hovering above it all was Frieza, the tyrant who didn't just rule the Saiyans, but owned them. Vegeta grew up watching his people slaughtered for entertainment, watching planets erased on a whim, watching his father kneel and die. And yet, he was forced to smile, to obey, to survive. This is where Vegeta's pain begins, not with loss, but with powerlessness. Vegeta's pride is often mocked, but pride wasn't arrogance, it was armor. When you grow up enslaved, pride is how you convince yourself you're still free. Vegeta clung to the idea of being Prince of all Saiyans because without it, he had nothing left. No home, no people, no future. Only the promise that one day he would surpass Frieza. That belief kept him alive, but it also poisoned him. Because when pride becomes your identity, failure doesn't just hurt, it destroys you. When Vegeta arrives on Earth, he doesn't just lose a battle, he loses his worldview. A low-class Saiyan, a nobody raised in the mountains, defeats him. Goku isn't royalty, he isn't refined, he doesn't even care about pride. And that's what breaks Vegeta. Because Goku doesn't beat him with hatred, he beats him with joy. From that moment on, Vegeta's pain shifts. It's no longer about Frieza, it's about inferiority. And that wound never fully heals. Namek is where Vegeta becomes truly tragic. For the first time, he believes freedom is within reach. For the first time, Frieza looks vulnerable. And when Frieza finally kills him, Vegeta doesn't rage. He cries. Not for himself, but for his people, for a race that died screaming, believing one day he would avenge them. And in his final moments, he begs Goku to do what he couldn't. That is not the death of a villain. That is the death of a broken child who never got closure. Vegeta comes back to life, but resurrection doesn't bring peace, because revenge was the only thing giving his life meaning. And now, Goku surpasses him again. Every transformation after that, Super Saiyan, Ascended, Majin, is Vegeta desperately trying to outrun emptiness. He trains not to grow, but to escape. Majin Vegeta is often misunderstood. This wasn't about becoming evil again. It was about taking ownership of his pain. Vegeta lets Bobby D control him because, for once, the suffering feels familiar, manageable, chosen. He believes if he can return to who he was, ruthless, emotionless, he won't hurt anymore. But even as Majin Vegeta, he hesitates. He spares his family. And when he sacrifices himself, hugging Trunks for the first time, we see the truth. Vegeta didn't lose his pride, he redefined it. Vegeta never wanted a family. He didn't believe he deserved one. Bulma represents everything he wasn't raised with: choice, safety, unconditional presence. And Trunks represents the future Vegeta never thought he'd have. Yet even here, his pain lingers. He struggles to say, "I love you," struggles to show affection, struggles to forgive himself. Because healing doesn't erase trauma, it teaches you to live with it. Dragon Ball Super adds a brutal truth. Even gods are indifferent. Beerus humiliates Vegeta. Zeno erases universes. Mortals are expendable. And yet, Vegeta bows, not in fear, but in responsibility. Because, unlike Goku, Vegeta understands consequences. That's why he trains differently, why he refuses Ultra Instinct, why he seeks Ultra Ego, power fueled by acceptance of pain. Vegeta doesn't dodge suffering, he absorbs it. Vegeta's greatest enemy was never Goku. It was the voice telling him, "You are what you were born as." And slowly, painfully, he proves it wrong. He admits his sins, acknowledges his victims, accepts that he can never undo the past, but he can move forward. That's real growth. Goku is what we aspire to be. Vegeta is who we are: flawed, proud, hurt, trying. Dragon Ball's fights may be loud, but Vegeta's story is quiet, heavy, and deeply human. He doesn't win because he's pure. He wins because he keeps going, even when the pain never fully leaves. And that's why Vegeta isn't just a rival. He's the soul of Dragon Ball. Goku shows us how to become stronger, but Vegeta shows us something harder: how to live with what broke you and still choose to protect others anyway.